The Long Reach is an adventure game filled with colorful characters, puzzles, and the shock of discovery. It has some horror elements, and it was developed by Painted Black Games for the Nintendo Switch, Steam, and PS4 on March 15th, 2018. It costs $14.99 or your regional equivalent. For the record, I am a chicken, and The Long Reach is the first horror game I've actually been able to successfully play. So, if you're like me, and you thought this title looked interesting but it's a darn shame about the genre, there's hope. The Long Reach is an interesting title indeed. It has a great grasp on atmosphere, setting up tension from the very first moment you start up the game. The ominous BGM that follows you throughout the experience, complete with creaking, moaning, and other such terrors, was enough to keep me at the edge of my seat. The Long Reach features a story of some shady dealings in a lab and the apocalyptic aftermath of the experiments that go on there. The exact details of said experiments are hazy, though you begin to piece things together as you explore the condemned facility. That's completely optional. I'm the kind of gamer who likes to explore every nook and cranny and pick up every object, but you're free to bum rush the objectives if you like. Though that seems like a waste because the game has a really great narrative, and the dialogue between characters is laugh-worthy. I was also surprised by how many dialogue options I was afforded, and, though they didn't do anything to change the course of the game, they were still a treat to read. For the most part, you play the game as Stuart, a nobody around the lab, though the game does switch perspectives a few, and effectively, I might add, times, in order to build up more tension. No horror experience is complete without a jump scare or two, and The Long Reach certainly delivers on that front, but it does so without resorting to cheap tricks. Most of the horror comes from the atmosphere, meaning that the fear you feel is entirely up to your ability to ignore the red flags that go off when you see blood-splattered walls and hear banging, moaning, and other such horrifying sounds. As such, the horror element isn't overbearing, and after the game begins to introduce more puzzles, your focus shifts from being scared to figuring out how to proceed. It was a welcome shift in my case, and the second half of the game didn't make me feel like peeing my pants as much as the first half did. The game also threw me for a loop by making me question the sanity of the main character, as well as what was or wasn't real. There was a definite what the fuck moment that I won't spoil, but it set me up to not trust anything I saw or did from that point onward. All that good aside, the game isn't without its flaws. One of my biggest complaints is the lack of a map. I understand this is a game about discovery and figuring things out for yourself, but a good portion of my playtime consisted of backtracking aimlessly because I couldn't remember which room or floor I needed to visit in order to proceed. Other minor complaints include the story, which produces more questions than it answers, and the game's length. Depending on your playstyle, it will take 4 to 6 hours to complete. This didn't feel like I was being shortchanged, however, hence it's only a minor complaint. Another thing of note is the fact that the Switch port has some load time issues. Sometimes it took a little longer than I would have liked, both to start up the game and to get between scenes. Final verdict? Recommended. If you're a scaredy cat on the fence, I urge you to try The Long Reach, no pun intended. The atmosphere is top-notch and the pixel art looks great on the Switch's screen. It's a fun little title and it may acclimate you to the genre. Horror fans who enjoy exploration and discovery should also give this title a look. It's a good way to spend a stormy night, if you dare. I've been Dawn for Need to Know Gamers. Stay in the know.